Hey there everyone, this is my first video with my special lantern here. So yeah, I want to talk about why people don't react in a very friendly way all the time. Because friendly and charismatic people are essentially emotional capitalists. That's an interesting way of putting it. They capitalize on other people's reactions and just being friendly to them and reacting to what other people put into the social dynamic. So this becomes complicated when sexuality becomes involved and sexual attraction and allurement become involved. Such it is with human nature that we become preferential in terms of how we treat others. So we treat others better than we treat some people better than we treat others. And it becomes very complicated and becomes unfair in many ways. And it turns into fights and conflict and pizzazz and all this sort of situations which are intriguing but at the same time essentially unequal. This is what I want to stress about life, is that it's inherently unequal and that there are things in life which will always be discriminatory to certain other people. And those who suffer the most are the ones that we should focus on as humanitarians, as compassionate people. So the appeal to nature has it wrong in so many counts, including sexuality. Although there is some functionality in sexual reactivities, there's also a lot of faults in being sexual all the time. We cannot rely on sexuality to tell us what is right for ethical reasons. So if someone does not appear to be a sexual target for us, does that mean we just ignore them? We just leave them to rot in the dust? Absolutely not. And I think there's a terrible equilibrium that's formed when people try to be friendly to some people but not to other people. And that equilibrium is above zero, but it's a very uneasy and unfair equilibrium. Everyone is a unique individual, and that's the unfortunate thing about the world, is that we are so complex at the individual level. Each of us wants something different, and sometimes we're too demanding, sometimes we're too compliant with other people, so all sorts of problems ensue. So this equilibrium of normality, where we believe that the world is as it should be, is a huge attraction for a lot of people. It's like a default for them. Everything that they discuss or believe in is like based on what's going on that's normal with the world. So what's in the news, for example, mainstream media has a huge monopoly on that, and it dictates how we mentalize and realize our existence. My approach to things like dating and relationships, I'm talking about sexual relationships and romantic relationships, is it takes from this idea of equality, and sort of reluctant pro egalitarianism. So I believe that friend zoning people is very important. I believe that becoming friends with someone is important, and that's the first step to having a romantic relationship. I would not do things the other way around, and I think it's awkward for people to do that. That's my opinion on things. I also have a history of being extremely charismatic. When I was a kid, I was extremely charismatic, but also vulnerable to extreme loneliness. I realized that it was a double-edged sword to being exuberant all the time, was that you'd be lonely half the time as well. And that's something that I had to deal with as a kid. So concepts like alpha male and beta male, and I suppose alpha female and beta female also might apply, um, are estranging and alienating. I don't believe in those terms very much. I don't use them very much. And even when I do use them, I'm not exactly sure that I understand what they mean. One thing that I will draw from the concept of alpha male, though, is that I believe that a really, really nice person should be nice to everybody and display that nicety to, the general audience, rather than just being nice to a few people, which I feel is very, very cringy, especially in this day and age. But in the concepts of public and private, I also understand that, when people become private with people that they really like, they will do things which are different than they will do with a general crowd. So it is with ageism or sexism or in inner circles, that sort of thing, that will separate people from other people who are more distant in ideology or in behaviours. So I hope I've noted out this idea and this topic of conversation fairly well, and really like this lantern here, which I bought for $4. Cost me $4 from Kathmandu. So I will see you next time. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. Bye.